Hello friends, this is Scott, and we're in my Salt Lake City front yard, and we're looking at the Weeping Mulberry Tree, which I also call an umbrella tree. There's several species of trees that have this kind of shape, so this is just one of those type. But some people like it long, and they just like to leave it all the way to the ground. It's not my favorite way to leave an umbrella tree. But I was talking to the nursery manager the other day, and he had a different idea. And then as I come out and look at this tree, I kind of had a natural kind of inclination to kind of go with what he had told me about, which was to make a little umbrella tree fort. So this tree has not grown very well on this side. It's a lot of shade, but there's a nice little place to go up in there and hang out possibly. And again, I don't hang out in my front yard like this, and I don't have any kids. I have a grandkid, but yeah, that might be something she might think was kind of fun. But yeah, that's an idea, is just leave it long and cut into one side, and you have a nice little secret little hideaway in the shade in the hot summer months. So, new idea for pruning an umbrella tree. Well, that's not my idea today. I don't have a need for that, so I'm just going to go ahead and do my normal pruning job. And these videos are fairly popular, so I'm going to keep on doing them when I do prune this tree. Now, these are kind of a higher end tree. You get them at the nursery, they're fairly expensive. When we bought this house 20 plus years ago, this tree was already in the yard. And over time, it had actually grown 2 crowns on it. And that's why you see that tree leaning. It's because it had another whole head of a tree on toward the driveway there. And the weight of the tree was kind of pulling it all toward the driveway. So quite a few years ago, I went ahead and cut that top out, the second top, and tried to reshape this one. And I actually pruned it all the way down to nothing. And I thought, maybe I might have killed this tree, but it came out of it. These trees are one of the slowest to come out of dormancy in the spring, and so it was kind of like I wasn't sure how that tree was going to make it. But yeah, it responded well to the heavy pruning, and again, it's always going to have that lean, but yeah, it's still an attractive tree, one you want to keep in your yard. And yeah, you get these trees all pruned up nicely, and I like it so you can see the understory. And not that I have anything really planted under there. I've got a few hostas and a little bit of ground cover, but it's nice to allow a little bit of sun to get down to the ground, especially when you have hostas around, because there's lots of slugs and snails, and the more shade you have and the more moist it is, you're just attracting a safe place for more slugs and snails to live. So anyway, I like to get a little bit of sun down to the plants below, as well as I like the look of it, the tree, when it's kind of an evenly pruned. Now, I'm just going to try to do this job without a ladder and without a hedge trimmer. I'm just going to try to do it by hand with just hand pruners, and I've got some loppers. And really, because I'm just lazy today, I don't want to get all those tools out. Not that it's that big of a deal, but yeah, I think the tree's at a point where it's not that big, and I think I probably can reach, all, if not most, of what I need to cut off this tree. So this is late July. This is a midsummer pruning job. Again, this is a very forgiving tree if you make any mistakes. So as you see, I'm not being super careful. I'm not even really measuring anything. I'm just eyeballing the height. And if I get it off a little bit as I'm pruning around, I'm just fix it. Yeah, it's not a huge deal. And if I have to cut it a little bit, taller or a little higher, it's okay. It'll all grow out again anyway. So yeah, you can shape this tree at whatever height you want. And I kind of like it at just about waist height, I think is kind of what my preference would be. And yeah, I like to just a quick prune job. I think this whole thing took me about 30 minutes, and not a big deal. But I'm still wondering as I get to the end of this pruning is whether I can reach the highest branches that need to be pruned out. But we'll see if I'm going to need to get some other tools out or get the ladder out. But yeah, very simple. I mean, I could snap these off with my hand too. They're very tender when they're young. So yeah, I don't even need these pruners. I could just twist them with my hand and snap them right off. But the pruners, make it easier. Again, a hedge trimmer, I would have had this done already, but I didn't feel like getting the cord out and doing all that stuff today. So yeah, we're just going to do it the manual labor way and keep the garbage can closed so it's an easy cleanup. And again, a very quick project and quick video for you guys today to see how you can enjoy this type of a tree. Again, there are many types of trees that come this way. So yeah, you just got to pick the right tree for you in your yard. Now, this is how I prune the tops or the sides. As you see, those little hoops that bend out, those are outside buds that sprouted. So those kind of detract from the look of the tree. So those I'm going to cut. And I'm going to cut them all the way back to the main stem that where they come out of. And so I got the loppers out so I could get a little bit more reach. And I'm thinking I could probably get most of these. I'm 6'3", and this tree is, I don't know if it's 10 feet tall at this point, 10 or 11. So like with the loppers, I can get up there at least 8, 9 feet and get most of what needs to be cut. But yeah, I got to get on my tippy toes on this. I have the stairs there to help me a little bit. But yeah, you just cut those outside leaning branches and just kind of, like I say, cut them at the stem, and they fall right out and makes for a nice shaped tree. We're getting down to the end of this as I'm reaching the highest branches. And again, I'm still thinking, yeah, I can get most of them. There might be a couple on top that I'm not going to be able to reach, but we'll do our best to see how this all ends up. Now, while I'm pruning this tree, I'm thinking about the hobby farm, and my wife wants kind of a globe-shaped tree or an umbrella-shaped tree as a shade tree for our back patio that I will eventually put in. And I went to the nursery and I saw a globe willow, and I thought that looks like a beautiful tree to put in. They get pretty big, but talking to the nursery managers, I don't think they're going to survive the amount of snow we get down at the hobby farm. They're kind of a tender tree. I think the cold hardiness would be okay, but willows are generally a fairly short-lived tree, and they break under the weight of snow, and so I guess that's not going to be a good choice. So I've got to find another type of a weeping tree for down there. I really don't want a weeping willow like we had in the front where that big stump is, that 40-inch stump. Again, I'm never going to see a tree grow that big. I'll be long in the ground by then, but I don't want to leave a nightmare for a future homeowner to have to deal with getting rid of a tree. So the weeping willow is still a candidate, but I don't know if I want to take on that kind of a messy tree down there. I got to find a suitable alternative that my wife would be happy with also, if I can find one. If not, it might be the weeping willow. But here we go, trying to get the last of the branches that are bending out on the side. As you see, there's a couple on top that I didn't even see while I'm pruning this tree, so I didn't get everything, as you'll see at the end of this video when I show you the finished product, but I got most of it, so I'm happy with it. If we have a couple sticking up, a couple loose hairs, that's not a big deal. But yeah, just finishing up the last few prunes that I can reach, and then we're going to call it good, and yeah, get on to some other project that I need to do because I got too much going on this time of the year. And so, yeah, I'm bouncing around from video to video, but there's lots of subject matter to cover this time of the year. But there you go. As you see, there are a couple loose hairs on top, but looks pretty nice. And again, that tree will always have that lean to it, but it's not terrible. But as you see, the more the growth is to the south. And yeah. But I kind of pruned it so it's equal to what the bad part of the growing part of the tree where the shade is. So yeah, looks pretty good. But it goes from a cousinette look, and again, there could be a possibility of making a little shelter or a little fort, but not for me. I'm going to go ahead and prune it just even and make it look as good as I can to complement my yard. Well, thanks for watching this video. If you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment. Thank you.